Yes, my people, the debate of the century, the debate that we've all waited for happened tonight. My people, make una listen to these two mighty Mrs. Kamala Harris. She's a strong woman. Same time, Donald Trump no one bowed down for her at all. Donald Trump still wants you to say he still got it. So anyway, let's listen to the two of them. But I think Kamala Harris gave it to him tonight, real hard, and Donald Trump was just busted in what he knows doing best. He was busted in a lot of lies. Yeah, Kamala Harris did bust him in a lot. Even sometimes the moderators had to say, oh, that is not what the FBI says, or that's not what the district somebody says, or the district attorney, and so on and so forth. My people, just watch this. I think it was hilarious to me. I just enjoyed debate. I enjoy watching debate a lot, and I've done that all these years that I've been in America. I love to watch the American political election debate. So watch it and let us all laugh together. You all will hear me laugh sometimes on this video. Please share and like. Thank you. And subscribe to my channel. God bless you.
Why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour. I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow, quiet please, he would have been sitting in Moscow much happier than he is right now. But eventually, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that.
Oh, she was in the beginning.
Maybe he'll use them, and maybe
she was in the beginning, but she kind of stopped.
But he does have that.
She kind of slowed down. She was asking a lot of questions.
To talk about it.
The beginning.
So you understand.
But after a while, it looks like she just.
Your camera is
3 days later,
flashlight is
he
on.
went
Go and see
in
the
and he
battery.
started.
That's what she normally. Come on, give me. Yeah, she go live.
Stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate. Zelensky and
come on, baby, go lay down.
And she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate as soon as they left. Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should. As a leader,
Get off my life. Get off my life. I don't want you to show my life.
As a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around
Hi,
the world
Queen. Hi, Adewale. Thank you for joining. Let's watch this debate together.
Favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on.
Please like and follow my page. Like and share. Share, follow.
The 28 countries at the time to pay up. He said, I've never seen, he's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before. If you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. Otherwise, we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed.
This is a debate. I'm not inviting anybody to come up. Sorry.
In the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Thank you for liking the live.
Do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker.
He's in our weakest deals.
Security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this.
Donald Trump, the old show.
And the president...
See face. Oh my goodness.
Of storied significance for us as Americans. A place...
Just they doing face.
The importance of American diplomacy.
Oh my goodness.
You know, say get up for that one.
Yeah. Do that face. No say I don't bust her for a lies. Yes. Anytime when Donald Trump make no say I don't bust her for a lies.
Camp David, because he does not again appreciate the role.
Share, and invite more friends. Tap on the
To
screen.
be commander-in-chief with a level.
Tap on your screen. Show some
And
love.
let's get back to the point
Tap,
of how he
tap,
has
please.
consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our
The way they do it face, they make me laugh.
and the work that we must do to uphold
All this face way they make.
and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul.
Donald Trump. I'm telling you, it's a show guy, not Hollywood.
But we wouldn't have lost the soldiers.
I'm not going to look up. No, I said I'm going to do Charlie for TV.
Now they do before now. That was what he was doing before. That was why we like him at the time. It was the Charlie on was it ABC that time?
Picture of his house.
I said in the picture.
You go going out.
So you'll find out soon.
Didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way,
After they buy Osama bin Laden.
because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
See, you put to turn black.
Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. you make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm
I don't
asking.
know. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black.
She was black and unblack, then became black.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of...
But do you know one thing I've noticed? Donald Trump has not been able to look her straight in the face.
Kind of approach that is just
Did you notice that?
Because that's not him.
Because she has always looked him in the eye. Then he will put his eyes down.
Respecting her.
He's putting his eyes down.
Not respecting her.
And he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young
Black
and Latino
men.
boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5.
Yeah, he did that.
Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this. Want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your 3rd time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she just said.
This is not Trump can't deny. Guy.
They said they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world.
Oh, so he agreed that he actually did it 50 years ago.
Stronger. But they're destroying our economy. They have no idea what it
He actually agreed now. This is the first time he's agreeing, because he just said that she stretched back to 50 years ago. But he never agreed
Never
before.
apologized to the kids.
Yeah, no, not the kids. I'm talking about not writing to the black people.
The men.
Not writing to black people. He has.
No, those are 50 years ago too. The men that they said they should kill.
Yeah.
Get away with that.
That is it. This is the first time that he actually acknowledged that he did.
Clearly,
Um.
Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country. One who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the American people. I believe in what we can do to strengthen our small businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's talk about our plans and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction to pursue their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of
Those are just express. Hey, see, Sister Bridget, how are you day? I'm just seeing you now.
for first-time home buyers. That's the kind of conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling. Let's turn the page
Vice
and
President
move
Harris,
forward.
thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President
Let's
Trump,
turn back
we
to
have to
policy.
move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
To defund the police. She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
She has
we do
a
have to
plan
move on.
I like the way she came back. She said, I have a plan for this. I have a plan for this.
Trump,
The
President
former
Trump.
president has
No,
said
I'm
something
sorry.
twice that I need to respond to.
I'm sorry,
I
we're
just
gonna
need to
move on,
respond
Vice
one
President
time.
Harris.
No, she has to respond. She has to respond.
Yeah, she has to respond.
President, you have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare.
They will not allow her to talk now.
That. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Last month you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care. Always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working
You've
on
always
something,
said that it was that you're going to replace it. The funniest part of it is an Caucasians feel that
Obamacare,
affordable
because
care.
Democrats
Black people know
didn't
they
change it. They
affordable
didn't
care
vote
so
for it.
much.
They were unanimous.
And
They
that
didn't
affordable
vote
care
to
is really
change it.
good for people to buy into it instead of people getting from your job. When you buy that affordable care, it's cheaper.
They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones too. And so the difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never going to be great.
You see this liar?
Expensive for
I
people.
You know
know.
who saved it?
What we will
McKay.
McKay.
It was John McKay that saved it, yeah. It was John McKay that saved it. May his soul rest in peace. It was John McCain that saved that affordable care health insurance.
as good as it can be run.
So just yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan.
Trump
I'm not president.
Trump
right now.
care.
But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government.
Now, you should have allowed her to respond to that now because it was, what's his name, McCain, John McCain that saved that affordable care, health care insurance.
And over the last 4 years as vice president, private healthcare options, but what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
True.
60 times.
Yes.
I
He
was a
failed.
senator at the time.
Yes.
When I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John
McCain,
who
yes.
you have disparaged as being
Saved it.
you don't like him, you said at the time, because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no
Great.
And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies.
Yes, it was John McCain. Donald Trump just lied. Yeah, thank God she said it. Yeah.
I saved it.
Remember when an
Yeah.
insurance company could do
John McCain brought it back.
What a liar.
asthma?
Just busted in another lie.
Cancer survivor.
He's such a liar.
Grandparent had diabetes.
But the people that support him don't care.
As I've been vice president, and we over the last
They like lies now. That's why they don't care.
We have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people.
I knew that John
Trump said he was
McCain,
going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. And now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. Since I've been vice president, we have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding.
Donald Trump, my man. Donald Trump is my man, Shao.
Should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not
I like the two of them, Sha.
fastest roll-up in terms of where Donald Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue that's important for a lot
A
of
mistake. Yeah. And number one.
Where's my guy? Yeah, that's my guy right there.
10 years.
No. They want to tag Donald Trump. We are more than a net tag which she did, baby.
Much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to do. People are paying privately for insurance.
Hey, baby, come here.
And made money, and they
Mommy?
want it private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
Thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump, with regard to the environment, you say that we have to have clean air.
This lady here,
and clean
she's
water.
black, right?
Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat. The question to you both tonight is, what would you do to fight climate change? And
Oh,
Vice
she's
President
Spanish.
Harris, we'll start with you. 1 minute for you each.
Well, the former president had said the climate change is a hoax. And we know that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either
It's happening in California right now.
Only California. It's happening in Africa. It's the apple for Nigeria.
Borno State.
The apple for Nigeria. Every day.
losing their
Climate
homes,
change.
having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of
Please share, oh, share. What's that? You okay?
I'm proud that as vice president over the
Please share, and like. Tap on the screen.
economy, while we have also
Don't just join. Please share.
to historic levels.
As you are watching the debate, Abemona, help me share.
800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy.
This country is such a great country. I know you don't know that. They spray for mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, I know they spray for mosquitoes now.
Because of there's this mosquito that came out in New Jersey that is giving people disease.
No, so not Texas. Now we live now. They always spray mosquitoes over there all the time. Because of all those bayous that we have in Texas, in Houston.
Growing what we can do around American manufacturing.
This is not the first time they are spraying
No,
here.
they spray all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just checking. I saw it pass.
Yeah, this is not the first
It
time.
didn't happen to Donald Trump. Let me just tell you, they lost 10,000
In America, no say that they spray air for mosquitoes, spray everywhere, spray the environment. I wish they could do that in Nigeria. Spray all them gutters where mosquitoes they full.
Massive plants, and they think they're going to
Therefore,
sell
don't at least minimize a lot of the mosquito malaria.
what they have given to China is unbelievable. We'll put tariffs on those cars so they can't come into our country because they will kill the United Auto Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit or South Carolina.
Please
or
like.
What they've done to business
As you're joining,
in
like
this country is
and share.
we have nothing because they refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine. They get all this money from all of these different countries. And then you wonder, why is he so loyal to this one, that one, Ukraine, China? Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's
New families and what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together that is about sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military, and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world? Are you be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do? I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I only have one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up investing right now in the American people.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it and you won't do it. Because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like, we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil fuel, we're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice.
Please share and like. As you're joining, share, like.
Just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world they're laughed. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to
Okay, so a minute now.
And it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of